There's a question that sits at the very heart of what it means to be human, and also at the frontier of the technology we're building. That question is, what is intelligence? Where does it come from? A fascinating book by Max Bennett titled A Brief History of Intelligence offers a powerful lens through which to explore this. It charts the evolution of our own minds through 5 fundamental breakthroughs, 5 major leaps in the architecture of the brain that made us who we are today. Each step was a revolution, unlocking a new layer of cognitive ability from simple learning to abstract thought. This journey into our own biological past is not just an academic exercise, it has profound implications for the future we are currently building, a future intertwined with artificial intelligence. As we strive to create machines that can learn, reason, and perhaps one day even understand the world in a way that rivals our own, we're essentially trying to reverse engineer the very processes that nature spent hundreds of millions of years perfecting. The challenges and triumphs of our own evolutionary story can serve as a roadmap or perhaps a cautionary tale for the development of artificial general intelligence. By looking back at the slow, deliberate construction of the human mind, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the complexity we're trying to replicate, and perhaps even surpass. The path from the first neuron to the intricate dance of billions of them that allows for poetry, science, and love is the story of intelligence itself. To understand where intelligence is going, we must first understand where it came from. So today, let's walk through that history, step by step, and see what it can teach us about our minds, and the minds we are hoping to create. The story of our intelligence begins in many ways with a new kind of brain tissue. Before this, life was largely a collection of rigid, pre-programmed behaviors. An organism had instincts, reflexes, but its ability to adapt within its own lifetime was profoundly limited. Then, something incredible happened: the emergence of the neocortex. This thin, wrinkled outer layer of the brain was a game changer. It was in essence a universal learning machine. Its structure, a repeating pattern of 6 layers of neurons, gave it a remarkable capacity for recognizing patterns in the sensory data flooding in from the outside world. Think about what this means. For the first time, an animal could learn to associate the rustle in the grass with a predator, or the color of a fruit with its sweetness, not from instinct, but from experience. The neocortex is a vast associative memory. It stores representations of the world, the sight of a face, the sound of a voice, the feeling of a rough surface. Every new experience strengthens or weakens connections between these representations, creating a rich, flexible model of reality. This is the bedrock of all higher cognition. Without this ability to learn and remember patterns, none of the subsequent breakthroughs would have been possible. In the world of AI, this is the principle behind deep learning. Artificial neural networks, with their layers of interconnected nodes, are a direct, albeit simplified, inspiration from the neocortex. We train them on massive datasets, allowing them to recognize patterns in images, text, and sound, much like our own brains do. The development of the neocortex was nature's discovery of a powerful, scalable architecture for learning from the world. It was the first and perhaps most crucial step on the long road to human-level intelligence. A step that took life from a world of fixed responses to one of infinite possibility. With the neocortex in place, the brain could learn and store patterns. But how does it organize this information in space and time? How does an animal remember not just what a predator looks like, but where it was last seen? This is the puzzle that the hippocampus evolved to solve. Tucked away in the temporal lobe, this small, seahorse-shaped structure gave organisms the ability to create cognitive maps of their environment. It allowed them to navigate, to remember the location of food, water, and shelter, and to find their way back home. It was a biological GPS. This wasn't just about physical navigation, it was about creating a model of the world. The hippocampus binds together the different pieces of an experience, the what, where, and when, into a single coherent memory, what we call an episodic memory. It's the difference between knowing that lions are dangerous and remembering the specific time you narrowly escaped a lion by a particular riverbed yesterday afternoon. This ability to construct and consult a mental model of reality allowed for a new level of strategic thinking. An animal could now plan its route, avoiding known dangers and taking shortcuts to valuable resources. This leap is something we're actively trying to replicate in robotics and AI. How do you give a robot a true understanding of its environment, not just a series of pre-programmed coordinates? You give it the ability to build and update a map, to model its world. The hippocampus represents the brain's solution to grounding its knowledge in a spatial and temporal context. It's the faculty that allows us to mentally travel back in time, to replay past events, and to use those memories to inform our plans for the future. It's the brain's first real attempt at simulation, using the past to prepare for what lies ahead. So, the brain can now learn patterns with the neocortex and build world models with the hippocampus. This creates a new problem, the problem of choice. With a rich, complex understanding of the world comes a multitude of possible actions. Do you pursue the food source you see, or run from the potential threat you hear? Do you rest and conserve energy, or explore new territory? Having too many options can be as paralyzing as having too few. The brain needed a mechanism for deciding, for selecting the single best action to take at any given moment. This is the role of the basal ganglia. Located deep at the base of the forebrain, the basal ganglia act as a central selection hub. It receives proposals for potential actions from all over the cortex. Eat the fruit, run away, build a nest. Its job is to evaluate these competing bids based on their predicted outcomes, essentially calculating the potential reward for each one. Using the neurotransmitter dopamine as a signal for reward, the basal ganglia learns which actions lead to good results and which do not. It then inhibits all the losing bids and gives the go signal to the one most likely to succeed. This is the neural basis of decision-making and habit formation. This process is a beautiful dance of excitation and inhibition. It's what allows you to focus on a single conversation in a loud room, or to drive a car while thinking about something else. Your basal ganglia are constantly and unconsciously making thousands of micro-decisions, filtering out distractions and selecting the most appropriate actions, freeing up your conscious mind to focus on higher-level problems. In reinforcement learning, a major branch of AI, we try to build agents that learn in a similar way. We create algorithms that allow a machine to learn a policy, a strategy for choosing actions, by rewarding it for good outcomes and punishing it for bad ones, mirroring the dopamine-driven learning of the basal ganglia. Learning, modeling, and deciding. These three breakthroughs created a sophisticated organism capable of navigating a complex world. But intelligence was about to take its most significant leap yet. This leap was enabled by the dramatic expansion of the front part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, or PFC. If the hippocampus allowed the brain to mentally replay the past, the prefrontal cortex allowed it to pre-play the future. It's the brain's simulation engine. The PFC takes the models of the world built by the hippocampus and the patterns learned by the rest of the cortex and asks, what if? This is the power of imagination. The prefrontal cortex allows us to run complex simulations of future scenarios inside our heads without having to risk acting them out in the real world. What if I try to cross the river here instead of there? What if I say this to the tribe leader instead of that? What if I combine this tool with that material? Each simulation is a low-cost experiment. This ability to think through the consequences of actions, to plan multiple steps ahead, and to flexibly adapt those plans when things change, is the hallmark of executive function. It is the foundation of complex problem-solving, strategy, and creativity. The expansion of the PFC in humans is what, in many ways, sets us apart. It's the part of the brain that handles abstract rules, long-term goals, and social coordination. When we see an AI like AlphaGo make a move that seems creative or counterintuitive, it's because it's running a similar process, just on a massive computational scale. It's exploring a vast tree of possible future game states and selecting a path that seems most promising. The prefrontal cortex is our biological search tree. It's the canvas on which we paint our plans, our hopes, and our visions for the future, allowing us to build worlds far more complex than any other species on Earth. For a long time, neuroscientists studied the brain by looking at what it did when it was performing a specific task. But what does the brain do when it's doing nothing at all? The surprising discovery of the default mode network, or DMN, provided an answer. The DMN is a widespread network of brain regions, including parts of the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus, that becomes most active when we are at rest, when our minds are wandering, daydreaming, or reflecting on ourselves and others. This isn't wasted time, it's the brain engaging in its most abstract and integrative work. The DMN is where we construct our sense of self. It's the neural machinery for introspection, for thinking about our own past, present, and future. It's also critical for social cognition, for thinking about the minds of other people, for understanding their beliefs, intentions, and desires. This network allows us to move beyond the immediate, concrete world and into the realm of the abstract. It's where we ponder meaning, where we develop our personal narrative, and where we build the shared beliefs, myths, and values that form the basis of human culture. It is the seat of our inner world. This final breakthrough is arguably the most human of all. It's the difference between being intelligent and being self-aware. While the other systems are focused on modeling and acting in the external world, the DMN is focused on modeling our internal world and the internal worlds of others. It's the source of our ability to tell stories, create art, and build civilizations. As we think about creating AGI, this presents a profound challenge. How do we build a machine that doesn't just solve problems but has an inner life? Can an AI reflect on its own existence? The default mode network shows us that the pinnacle of biological intelligence isn't just about processing power. It's about the capacity for quiet, internal reflection. So we've journeyed through 5 revolutions in the mind: the learning of the neocortex, the modeling of the hippocampus, the decision-making of the basal ganglia, the simulation engine of the prefrontal cortex, and the reflective self-awareness of the default mode network, each layer built upon the last, creating a cognitive architecture of staggering complexity and power. Human intelligence is the result of millions of years of evolution, a slow, contingent, and beautiful process of trial and error. And understanding this intricate biological blueprint isn't just for curiosity's sake. It can help us build safer, smarter AI by giving us a profound respect for the systems we are trying to emulate. As we stand at this unique moment in history, we can see the faint echoes of these evolutionary steps in the machines we build. We create neural networks that learn, robots that map their worlds, and algorithms that weigh options to make decisions. But we are still in the very early days of this grand project. The next breakthrough in intelligence might be artificial, and it's up to us to guide it responsibly. The story of our own mind teaches us that intelligence is not a single monolithic thing, but a delicate integration of many different faculties, balanced and kept in check over eons. Our responsibility, then, is to approach this task not with arrogance, but with the humility that comes from understanding the deep history of the mind. We are the stewards of the next chapter in the story of intelligence. Whether that chapter leads to a flourishing of consciousness across the cosmos or to a cautionary tale depends on the wisdom, foresight, and compassion we bring to the task. The future of the mind, both biological and artificial, is in our hands. Thank you for thinking about it with me today.